on, guys? This is Anthony from Finding Our Adventure. Today we've got the Canopy up again on our second modification video, and let's show you what we'll be doing. So we've got about 300 feet of the best line in the industry, Lawson glow wire. Amazing stuff here. So I got the 3 mil cord. It's good to 550 pounds. It's 3 mil. It's got the 3M reflective tracer in it. This is the best guy line in the industry, man. Normally I get the 2mm stuff for my ultralight tents, but this stuff here is amazing. Similar to like the Z-Pax Z line, but this stuff has really nice reflective tracers. I've got these little cord locks off Amazon. I got about 30 of them for the price of about 5 line locks, and they're metal. So the reason I went with these is they're metal. This is going to be dealing with some high strength or some high stress wind situation, so I wanted to go with a metal object. And because I love this country, I went with red, white, and blue. What else did we get? Well, we got some Amazon titanium nail stakes. These resemble my Vargo titanium nail stakes I'm already using here. They're the exact same length. I did a bend test on these. They're almost identical to my other titanium nail stakes at 1/3 of the price. I'm going to link all this stuff in the description. 2 of these you're going to get on Amazon. This you're going to buy from Lawson Equipment. It's an online website. It ships super fast. All right, guys, today we're going to be setting up the guy lines on the shelter or the canopy. We're going to do 3 on each corner here. Let's get to it. All right, guys, let's assume for camera purposes that this is the loop that I need to go through up on the top of the canopy to connect to it. We're going to use something called a bowline knot. It's the most common knot you're going to find. It's one of the strongest knots out there. It does not slip ever, and it's easy to untie in the event of an emergency. This is something that you can use in rock climbing, those sort of things. So we're going to grab a good fair bit of cord. Okay, good fair bit of cord. I'm going to make a loop over the top, small loop, like that. You see the loop goes over the top. I'm just pinching. My free end is going to go through our loop, come out of the hole from underneath, comes from underneath up top. We're going to go around the world by coming underneath, and let's go back through our original hole, back into it, okay, from top to bottom now, like that. And all we would do is cinch this tight. So I'm going to pull my free end tight, I'm going to pull all ends, and this is going to be our bowline knot. If for some reason you wanted some extra sense of security, you can leave this tag end a little longer and make a little half hitch knot just to tie it off. But in my experience, I've never had these come loose. They just don't come loose. But the nice thing is it's easy to free it up if you need to. So now I'm going to make 3 of these on each corner of the tent. And then we'll have these set up, and then we'll show you how we keep the line nice and taut. We're going to bowline that around here, measure out 15 feet, snip it on the end. Now that we have roughly all of our strands cut to 15 feet, again, we're going to go ahead and take our lighter and melt the ends of these down so that they stop fraying at the tips where we cut them. Okay, now we're back on the other side here with all of our bowline knots, and we need to do the same to all the ends over here so that these don't get frayed. Some of you may be thinking, why are you doing such long guy lines? Why aren't you doing 6 or 8 feet? Well, the answer to that is simply our angle of attack here. That's why you want to go with the longest guy out that you can possibly use that is workable to the situation. So by doing about a 15-foot guy out, we're keeping ourselves at about a 45-degree angle to a 50-degree angle. That's going to give us a lot more pull and a lot more leverage in those high stress wind applications where wind is going to be battering the shelter and trying to push it this way. If we used a really short, like 6-foot guy line like they use on this, we're looking at angles of like 25 to 30%. And in a high wind situation, this tent's still going to be able to move this way, no problem, even if this is really taut at this angle. So I hope that makes sense. By lengthening the guy line, we have about a 45-degree angle, which gives us way more leverage. Use the longest guy out that you can for the project, and you're going to get much better results this way. Okay guys, now it's time to throw on our line adjusters here. We'll take any one of the strands, doesn't really matter which one. And we're going to go through like this. Go through the top side. You can see I have it cupped facing to the right. I go on the top side, loop through the bottom side, and then on this side I'm just going to do a double knot. So nothing super fancy. On this side we'll just do a double knot. This is to hold everything in place. So you can go through just once if you want. I like to double knot these. So I feel like it gives you a little bit more biting power with the double knot. A little larger surface area here. So you can see we got a little double knot. And there we go. It's a nice little figure 8 type knot. So then that has a nice butt stop there. And basically now we have a adjuster here, and now the line will be tight in the ground. It's not going to be able to slack, and then we could pull tension on it by pulling this up and make it tighter. So we're going to do that to all of these. Alright guys, there's our nice red, white, and blue loop ends. So now we can go ahead and hook all these up to the canopy shelter, and let's show you sort of what that looks like. Alright guys, just due to time constraints of the sun setting, I'm going to show you one side done here. So you can see I've got a point 90 degrees off here. Right? I've got the secondary 90 degrees off here. And then one straight off the corner at a 45. Now this is going to be for your highest of high wind situations, right? 3 guy outs on each point. You typically wouldn't utilize this many, but I just wanted to show you the setup. So you've got these line lock adjusters here. They're not line locks, but these line adjusters. So we're providing tension. I can slack these up as needed to slack the line down if I need to, and I just kind of pull until it's tight, like so. Hard to do this one-handed, but it's pretty, actually it is pretty easy. I can just take it, pull up, and apply nice top line pressure with 2 hands. I can get this thing like guitar string tight. And I can adjust all 3 to where they have some nice tension on our single point here, which we are going to reinforce, by the way. I'm gonna put a nice thick nylon loop there. And what does this do? Well, you can see we've got that nice 45-degree angle. So we've got, you know, perfect 90 there, perfect 90 here. We're at about a nice 45-degree angle. And if I try and move this in, I physically cannot move that in. The only thing that would really make this move in is if this rips. So that is why this theoretically can handle any wind situation, and why I think the failure point will be the material and not the metal, is because by guying this out super taut on each corner, you do not allow the pull system to flex, which is the reason these always break. The pull systems flex, the metal fails, and the structure collapses. That is why these canopies suck. So if you can structurally guy them out like this, you will be set up rock solid. You won't have any movement, and therefore it will last like it did in my previous 2 videos ago in sustained 20 to 40 mile an hour winds. Okay. Now, if you really wanted to stake this thing out with just 4 stakes, and for the whole shelter, let's say you just wanted to use 4 stakes, you could do the military tile, or the military style of staking, where you have 1 guy out, comes to the center here, 1 guy out comes to the center as well. So you form a triangle, and you do that on all 4 sides. So then on this side, you would have 1 guy out coming to the center here, 1 guy out coming to the center as well. And so that would form a triangle. You're going to do that on that side and on that side. And what that theoretically does is that holds this in place in 2 corners. Therefore, it makes it very hard to push in. Okay, so if you really wanted to go minimal, you could get away in high wind with 4 stakes, 8 guy out points, and you'd be fine. But I wanted more than that. I wanted extreme high wind, leave this up at night type stuff. And by utilizing 3 guy out points on each side, not typically going to do this all the time, then we won't worry at all. My only failure point really is going to be our loop here, which we will at some point reinforce. Okay, so that's the video for today, guys. The only other thing I might do is throw some Lawson glow wire on these guys. I will do that off video, but that's the premise of today's video, making these Lawson glow wire with line adjusters here. I'm going to show you, I'll give you links to these on Amazon, and I'll give you a link to the Lawson page for this awesome glow wire. This is a 550 pound stuff, so you could use this in a pinch for emergency use, for pulling heavy weight, those sort of things. And this is going to last a long time out in the desert. So, all right guys, I hope you enjoyed the content today while we're working on this cool little DIY canopy project. Hopefully going to be bringing it out next week to the desert to test it out a little bit before we sew on the loops. So look out for that video coming up. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.